such a small country, Portugal packs a punch. Lisbon and Porto get all the love, but there's much more to Portugal than its captivating historic cities. From 17th century military architecture and brooding cathedrals to lively beach resorts and spectacular national parks, this small nation offers an incredibly diverse range of visitor attractions. They also have an iconic forest that has helped a Portuguese billionaire family make up a multi-million-dollar fortune. So stay till the end to learn about this amazing forest. Defining Portugal's history is an amazing collection of monuments and historic buildings, many of them recognized by UNESCO as World Heritage Sites. Every region has diverse attractions, and finding the best place to go depends largely on your interests. Here's a rundown of the top places to visit in Portugal. Lisbon. Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, is one of Europe's most alluring cities. Set on the banks of the river Tagus, this vibrant Atlantic port is scattered over a series of hills that heighten its splendid waterfront location. Exploring the city's historic core is a journey into its fascinating past, a heritage exemplified by celebrated visitor attractions, such as the mighty Castelo de São Jorge and Alfama, the oldest part of Lisbon. The collection of world-class museums extends the cultural experience. To the east, away from the city center, you can marvel at the modernity of Parque das Nações and its crowd-pulling sites such as the brilliant Oceanário. Across to the west in Belém, Portugal's golden age of discovery is mirrored in the magnificent Mosteiro dos Jerónimos and the quirky Torre de Belém, both UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Sintra. Enchanting Sintra is one of the gems in Portugal's glittering sightseeing crown. Recognized by UNESCO for its remarkable cultural landscapes, this historic and captivating town is worth putting aside a full day to absorb. It's one of the most popular day trips from Lisbon. Clustered under the lip of the wooded Serra de Sintra hills, the town is dominated by the landmark Palácio Nacional, its signature twin chimneys looming over a pretty square edged with houses painted in a palette of pale pink and ochre with splashes of yellow. Peering down over this picture postcard setting is the ancient Castelo dos Muros, seemingly hewn out of the granite escarpment it runs along. Crowning the highest hill is the bewitching Palácio de Beni, used in the 19th century as a summer retreat by the Portuguese royal family. Porto. With its robust granite architecture and commercial disposition, Porto, Portugal's second city, rewards visitors with a very different experience from that of the capital. Sited at the mouth of the River Douro and blessed with a waterfront, the Ribeira, acknowledged by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, Porto is a destination endowed with Baroque churches and neoclassical buildings that numbers some of the best examples of their kind in the country. Of particular note are the needle-like Torre dos Clérigos and the imposing Sé, the city's cathedral. Évora. Deep in the heart of the Alentejo is Évora, one of the most beguiling destinations in Portugal. Renowned for its amazing ensemble of well-preserved monuments, Évora deserves close and unhurried scrutiny. Its medieval walls enclose centuries of history, a timeline illustrated by the impressive Templo Romano, which dates from around the 2nd century, the brooding but compelling 12th century Sé Cathedral, and the Igreja de São Francisco, with its lugubrious Capela dos Ossos, completed in the mid-1550s. The historical significance of Évora and the unspoiled condition of its architectural treasures has won it coveted UNESCO World Heritage Site status. Óbidos. What does a king give his queen for a wedding present? For the lucky queens of Portugal, it was the achingly pretty town of Óbidos, a custom that prevailed for hundreds of years. These days, it's gifted to the general public, and it's certainly worth the hour's drive north out of Lisbon to reach it. Óbidos is an artist's dream, an assortment of whitewashed cottages, cafes, and handicraft stores lining a series of narrow, cobbled streets are completely enclosed by sturdy medieval walls. There's also the Igreja de Santa Maria, which features a wonderful interior of blue and white 17th century azulejos or tiles, and a museum on the town's attractive square includes rare works of art by the 17th century painter Josefa de Óbidos. Tavira. Cited by many a guidebook as the most captivating town in the Algarve, Tavira does indeed tick all the scenic boxes. The Rio Guilhão cuts a smile through this pleasantly laid-back town with a Roman footbridge connecting one side with the other. The waterfront makes for a wonderful walk before or after you've uncovered the rest of Tavira's historic treasures. The castle walls provides glorious views across the old town and the nearby coast. You can also explore the Igreja de Santa do Castelo, the grandiose church where warrior knights are entombed. Parque Natural de Ria Formosa. The Algarve is justly famous for its pristine coastline, and one of its natural wonders is the Parque Natural de Ria Formosa. This protected marine habitat constitutes a 60-kilometer stretch of marshland, salt pans, shallow water lagoons, and dune islands that run from Quinta do Lago, east part Faro to Casella Velha. A haven for an abundance of flora and fauna, the park is crisscrossed by a series of nature trails with proximity to some of the animals associated with this region of Portugal. From observation hides built on the lakes, birdwatchers can spy species like the rare purple gallinule, while out on the mudflats, flocks of greater flamingos can be admired. Coimbra. The historic hilltop university in Coimbra is just one reason to visit this venerated Portuguese city, but the wealth of additional visitor attractions, much of them clustered around the Velha Universidade, classified by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, merits a full day's sightseeing. The undoubted highlight of a tour of the old university campus is the stunning Biblioteca Juanina, a Baroque gem of gilded and marbled wood and frescoed ceilings. You can also climb to the top of the 18th century clock tower for a giddy perspective over the entire area. Your exploration should include the imposing late 12th century Sevilla or Old Cathedral. Back in the old town below, there are further historic buildings to discover. Among them too, former convents and the Igreja de Santa Cruz, consecrated in 1131, which contains the tomb of Portugal's first king, Alfonso Henriques. Parque Natural da Serra da Estrela. For good reason, the highest peaks on mainland Portugal, the Serra da Estrela, are called the Star Mountains, rising to 1,993 meters above sea level at its highest point. The range, or more precisely the plateau, is a dramatic natural feature of central Portugal. It is often snow-capped in winter when opportunistic skiers take advantage of what is probably the shortest ski season in Europe. The mountains are home to the Serra da Estrela sheepdog, a breed unique to Portugal. You are bound to come across proud locals walking one of these powerful but mild-mannered dogs. Elvas. The heavy star-shaped walls that make up the military fortifications surrounding Elvas are among the best preserved examples of military architecture in Europe. This frontier town, set on a hilltop in the Alentejo, 15 kilometers from the border with Spain, is so remarkable for its mid-17th century defenses that UNESCO has declared Elvas a World Heritage Site. A castle set on the north wall affords fine views over the area and takes in two smaller outlying forts and the Aqueduto da Amoreira, the town's impressive 16th century aqueduct. Things to see and do. Start in the Ribeira district, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, then cross the bridge to centuries-old port wineries in Vila Nova de Gaia, where you can sip the world's best port. We appreciate you staying with us throughout the video. Here's the bonus fact we mentioned earlier. Portugal is the biggest cork producer in the world and produces more than 50% of the world's cork supply. It is also home to the world's largest cork forests, making up 34% of the world's area of cork forests. The Amorim family of Portuguese billionaire Americo Amorim made their multi-billion-dollar fortune in the cork industry. Which one of these amazing places would you like to visit first? Comment down below and let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed the content, uplift the channel by hitting like, subscribe, and also ring the YouTube bell to meet us again in the following video. Until next time.